Hi everyone, I'm Jim Aku Brimstone and welcome to the best anime series of 2024, part 3. Today it's the 3rd October 2024, so shout out to Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Never forget, if you understand that reference, then I love you. This summer season in anime was actually one of the worst since 2016 for me, because usually I have around 13 to 22, 25 shows to recommend you, but this time I only have 11, but actually it's 10 because the 11th one is a movie that came out last year, but the English subtitles dropped this year, so yeah, that's just 10 plus 1. Before I start talking about the best shows of this season, I also want to share some thoughts about animes that started out good but got gradually worse over time and I just couldn't recommend them to anyone. So the first one is Rick and Morty, the anime. It's still ongoing, but it's not getting better, guys. I'm a big fan of Rick and Morty, you know, Pickle Rick! I've rewatched it several times, but this one is actually quite serious, almost no jokes here. It's like a separate entity. I am not even sure if this is going to be counted as canonical. Yeah, it's just not fun, not interesting, it's like an average show. I am going to finish it, but I only would recommend it to people who truly love Rick and Morty, even if it doesn't have any comedy elements. So yeah, that's it. Next show, Bye Bye Earth. Now this one, well, the first episode was okay, but I've watched it until the end and I was like, yeah, never going to do that again. It's just average, it has nothing to tell, it just exists. For me, it has no value. The third show, Naze Boku no Sekai wa Daemo Oboetanai no Ka. So this is a show about a dude who's like trapped in this new world, and in his world, the world was saved by this very cool dude called Sid, and here he's basically taking the role of Sid to save this universe. And while the first episode was interesting, I was like, I wonder where this is going. By the end, I was just like, I can't stand this, like, sorry, I cannot recommend this to anyone. This one, I don't want to even talk about, this is just wrong, let's move on. And by the way, I saw around 50 to 60 animes this season, 17 that disappointed me, 11 that I've enjoyed, so yeah. Dungeon People, this one started out great and I was like interested in the main plot point. Basically we've got Clay and she goes to the dungeon and basically starts working for the monsters in the dungeon. And she keeps looking for her father, who's basically probably on the last level of the dungeon, but this show basically goes nowhere, there is nothing explained, we get no resolution. I don't know if it's going to get more seasons, but overall I would not recommend this show, like, it's basically nothingness. It's just a feel-good show that drags on and the story is not resolved at all. This is how I could actually describe most of anime these days. So yeah, let's move on to Suicide Squad Isekai. Now this one had some funny moments, but overall I wouldn't waste my time of it. Maybe if you're a big fan of Suicide Squad, then sure, but if you're not, then just don't do it. It's just okay. Some scenes were funny and interesting, that's all. Next we've got My Dear Friend Nokotan. So yeah, this is actually probably the biggest success of this season. Many people love this show because of that meme with the deers, and I must say that this is the worst show for me of this season. The humor is supposed to be like in Gintama or Sket Dance, you know, those classic shows, but it just doesn't land at all. I also hate shows where only women are the main characters, because I love variety in my shows. I want to have all kinds of people as main characters. I want men, women, people in between, stuff like that. And here, I don't care. I just don't care. It's not funny, it's cringe. Some scenes were funny, but overall this was a massive waste of time, and I hope that this one is not going to be continued. And sure, many people are going to hate me for this, because this is the most beloved show this season, I think. That's what I saw online, and I just don't understand it. Now let's move on. 2.5 dimensional seduction. So this is a show about cosplay people. So there's this dude who likes photographing, and he has his favorite show from like a manga called Liliel. And there's this girl who's going to basically portray her, you know, wear her clothes, go to anime conventions, stuff like that. And while it started out very interesting, there is a slight romance here going on. I must say that overall this show is very disappointing, and the story is progressing very slow, to the point that I've stopped being interested. But it has good animation, the characters are fine, so I'm sure that many people are going to enjoy this one. It's just not for me overall, but I see the value in it. Next we've got Tower of God, second season. This is the biggest disappointment for me in 2024. Actually, I'm giving it average score, because no, the first season of Tower of God was great, you know, the story, the characters, and here basically all of that is thrown out of the window. We get new characters that are like not as good as the previous ones. Sure, the main character from Tower of God is here and some of the other characters, but the story just took such a weird turn. And that girl, what's her name? Rachel? She's the worst fucking female character in the history of like every stories. Like, I hate her, and seeing her here is like meh. So yeah, overall, if you're a fan of Tower of God and you haven't started watching this crap, do not watch it. To me, it just did not happen. Let's see what will happen in the third season. Maybe they're going to salvage this, or it's going to get even more worse. Oh yeah, this is still ongoing. I didn't even notice, because it's so fucking interesting. Now moving on to A Journey Through Another World, raising kids while adventuring. So this is one of those feel-good shows, you know? A show where basically this dude gets sent to another world, and he has to take care of those two kids who are like children of Poseidon or some shit. And yeah, they basically go everywhere, have adventures, he takes care of the kids, he's a good step-parent, or however you call that shit in English. And yeah, the music is fine, the characters are okay, the show is kinda infantile, and yeah, it's not for me, but it's not bad. It's just one of those very many good feel shows that has no real threat, no mystery, no story whatsoever, because like, what is going to happen here? Basically nothing. It's a good show to watch when you're eating something and you are bored and you have nothing else to do, but you should value your time and watch something interesting instead. But it was okay. Now, what else? No Longer Alone in Another World. Now, this show started out perfectly. I thought this would be the best anime of this season. I was wrong. The idea of a character going to another world and being a suicider speaks to me, speaks to my soul, because I had suicide attempts, so yeah, I feel the main character, like, it's so easy to relate to him in almost every way, and while the first episodes are very strong, the next ones just get gradually worse, and like the last couple of them, like 4 or 5, I was like, nah, this has taken a wrong turn, and I am very disappointed. Maybe the second season is going to be better, I hope so. As of now, I am not recommending this show, but if you love isekai stuff, and you love dark, brooding, suicidal moments, like the main character is so funny, literally me. Now let's move on to Terminator Zero. Yeah, so this is like an anime about Terminators. I don't want to spoil the story for you because you might be interested in this one, but for me it wasn't that much Terminator-like. Like, sure, it was fun, it was okay, but it misses the soul of those movies and video games and such. Sure, Terminator didn't have a lot of great video games, mostly shit ones, but still. So yeah, watch this if you're a massive Terminator fan. It was only 8 episodes, so you can finish it in 4 hours or less, but not that interesting to be honest. The story not so great. Moving on to I Parry Everything. So this one also started out nice. We've got the main character who's basically useless at every skill in his world, but he tries still to become a hero. And you know, he picks up the most mundane tasks, you know, cleaning stuff, physical work, and he basically becomes the most strongest person in the world, but he's oblivious to this fact, and it's so annoying because this is a grown-ass man and he acts like a 4-year-old mentally. It's so draining because at first it's going to feel like it's endearing, it's cute, but after 3 episodes I was annoyed with the main character, how fucking stupid he is. Alia sometimes hides her feelings in Russian, so another show that's probably a big success in the anime world, but not for me because while it started out great, it's basically about this dude who goes to high school or middle school with this cute Russian girl and she is basically in love with him, but she only says that romantic stuff in Russian, thinking he doesn't know Russian, but he knows Russian. And yeah, it's supposed to be funny, but in the middle of the show it stops being about romance and like characters' feelings for each other, and it's basically about running for the high school presidency, you know? This is so stupid. Like, they are making this like the stakes are so high. I need to become student council member. I need to be the president of the student council member. I need to be on the top. Like, this doesn't even matter. No one cares about that worthless fucking shit. Like, this is so stupid. And yeah, the show just got worse and worse. And why I truly loved the first couple of episodes. I was like, maybe I should recommend this show, but the last episodes were like, nah. Hell nah, brother. Don't do it. And no, I am not recommending this. Monogatari series of a monster season. So yeah, another Monogatari stuff. How many is there? Wow. You understand I have seen all of this stuff? Yeah, I am also embarrassed of myself. So this one is like average. Like, if you're a massive fan of this series, then you're going to love it. But if you have some expectations from your life and shows, then don't do it. Sorry that I am keeping this so brief, but I want to start talking about the great shows. Fairy Tail 100 Years Quest. So Fairy Tail was like a good anime, you know, the first season I did enjoy it. Then the second season came out and I was disgusted by it because of how many edgy elements it had. The story was like non-existent in the second season, the animation got worse and the characters became very annoying. I feel like Fairy Tail should have ended years ago, you know, with the first season, same with the manga. I feel like this about 99% of shonen anime. They drag on for too long because the creators need to have food and money, so they do this shit, and after 500 episodes this story does not make sense anymore and it's just so fucking stupid, but they're still going on because they need to survive, they need the money, the creators. It's just like never-ending cycle of slop. It's like Pyrocynical dropping his fucking slop videos, which I do enjoy, but but in anime I don't enjoy the slap because it just takes too much of your time. This third season or whatever, this 100 Years Quest, I will be watching it, but because I have grown attached to the characters, because I've been watching this show for many years, but I don't enjoy it that much. It's average, so if you're a massive fan of Fairy Tail, you might want to check it out. If you have never watched Fairy Tail, then just watch the first season and stop. You are going to be happy. that way. This is the 17th and last anime that truly disappointed me. Make Heroine ga Oesugiu. This one is about Nukumizu, a dude who's like sitting in a cafe or some shit, and he notices a girl being dumped by her boyfriend, and they become friends and have adventures in the school and outside of it, and he meets more and more girls, and it stops becoming interesting because every girl she meets has a problem because the boy she likes does not like her back. And it's actually quite interesting because in this show the characters who are in love with boys or girls do not end up together, so that actually does not happen quite often in anime. So that's an interesting take on this. But it's kinda annoying that like this dude is like has to help every single person and basically gets nothing in return. Like you can maybe make a statement that he gets some friends, but are they really his friends? Like they're only using him when he's free, and it's just so fucking annoying to me. I did enjoy the last episode, it was my favorite one, and I actually hope that this show is going to get a second season because maybe they can fix some of the mistakes in the story and they can maybe do some character developments. Why not? Now let's start talking about great animes this season. The Sacred 11 shows. Let's go. Rising Impact. This is a show about Gawain, a small child with blonde hair who meets basically this old woman, Kiria, and she notices that he has affinity for golf, you know, like he might become a prodigy, you know, not the band, but in golf. And I must say that this is one of the better animes I've seen in my life, which is so funny because when I started watching it, I didn't have any expectations towards it, and I've also thought that it would be some stupid anime because I hate golf. I don't care about golf at all. The only thing I liked about golf before was that Larry David was playing golf in his TV series Curb Your Enthusiasm. It was funny. And also that movie with Adam Sandler, Happy Gilmore, something like that. That movie was 10 out of 10. It was so hilarious. But that was it. Everything else about golf I truly did not give a fuck. And then Rising Impact comes in and it smashes my brain. I'm like, wow, this is so good. The characters, their development over the episodes, the fights, the interesting story. Like, look at the reviews. People do not get this show. It was such a fun ride. Like, almost every character is likable. This show kind of reminded me of the first season of Beyblade, you know? Like, there's some sort of friendship between the characters and they truly respect each other, something that you don't see in real life that much nowadays. So yeah, that was like a breath of fresh air on this rotting, wasting corpse of season. Sorry, but yeah, Rising Impact, go check out this show right now. It has 26 episodes, I think, and I feel like that's not enough. I want another season. I want to see how the characters grow up, how they will change, what other adventures they're going to have, because this was truly fantastic. Like, I've actually binge watched like the first 12 episodes or so in one day because I was like, what is going to happen next? Like, those characters are so interesting. What the hell? So yeah, watch Rising Impact right now. It's fun, fucking tastic. Now moving on to the second show that I recommend, it's Kimi ni Todoke from Mid to You, Season 3. So if you have never heard about this show before, this one actually released Season 1 like 14 years ago? Something like that. It's been a long while, maybe even more than 14 years. I am not sure and I'm too lazy to check, but this is a show about a girl who's basically made fun of at school because she looks like a dead ghost or some shit, you know, like from that The Ring movie, you know, and no one cares about her except this one dude who is cheerful and always happy to see anyone, and they basically will fall in love, and that's the first season. And I must say that I love this romantic show. Apparently it's a shoujo show, so it's catered towards women, but don't listen to that bullshit. Those are just silly labels. This is a great story about respect, love, boundaries, great characters, dramas that also happen in real life. So yeah, this is great to watch. The first season and this one, the third season, wow, just wow. This is probably the best season of this show. So you will have to survive the average second season. I hated the second season. The second season sucked ass, but this third season, wow. It was the cherry on top, a perfect conclusion to this show, and I am so happy that they've decided to basically give us an ending, because the second season was like, it ended like, I don't know, on like cliffhanger or some shit. I don't remember even, because I hated the second season, but this season great. So if you're interested and you love romantic shows with a dip of comedy, because it's not that funny to be quite honest, but it feels real and genuine, and I truly enjoyed this one. Go give it a shot. You will enjoy the first season, the second season probably not so much, but this one you're going to love, because you will grow with the characters, you will like them, and you will be interested and invested in their adventures together. Giji, Harem, Pseudo, Harem now. This was the second best anime for me in quite a while. It started out perfectly. It's basically about this dude, Eiji, who's basically like 1 or 2 years older than Rin, the female character here, and they are basically like in a school movie club or theater club or some shit. Rin is basically an actress and she lands the roles, and he's like the dude that does the behind the scenes stuff. And this show is about their romantic feelings for each other, their relationship, and I must say that it was again such a breath of fresh air because of the comedy, how both characters are respectful to each other, but they also, you know, take stabs at each other, you know, make fun of each other, but not in a bad faith, and we don't have any awful ecchi elements here, which is thank you, just thank you. It was fantastic from beginning to the end. Some people might say that the show should have ended like on the 5th or the 6th episode, I don't remember which one it was, but I must say that I'm glad that it kept going, and we had the final resolution at the end, which was quite nice. We don't need a second season. After the outro song, we also get a small funny bit with the main characters, as they basically play some other characters, and they're also quite fun. So yeah, this show, legendary, go watch it right now. The Ossan Newbie adventure, this one was basically about this dude who's at the age of 30, and everyone makes fun of him that he can't become an adventurer because he's too old and he doesn't have any skills. He finds people who are going to help him train, and he's going to become powerful. That's the show. I must say that I've loved the characters, their motivations, the music, the story, just the feeling of this show. It was again such a breath of fresh air, no bullshit here. So yeah, if you love comedy, fantasy settings, adventures, then you should watch it. You just have to mind that this show still has not resolved the main plot point, and I hope that we're going to get a second season, so that can happen. That can happen because this was truly fun to watch. Blue Lock movie episode Nagi. So this is the show I was talking about, which was basically released months ago, but finally we have the English subtitles. And if you haven't watched the Blue Lock anime, it's basically about all of those football players who are taking a part in this Blue Lock project to basically become the Japan team in World Cup or some shit. It's a tale about the secondary characters, two of them, Reo and Nagi, and the show starts before the original anime, and then it basically goes through the same basically timeline, and we see the same story unfold, but through the eyes of different characters, their motivations, what they are doing, fleshing out the characters some more. I must say that it was fun to watch. It wasn't perfect at all, but it was good. I did have fun watching this. I do enjoy the characters more, and I hope that we can get second season of Blue Lock, because this show is truly interesting. It's one of those shonens that you are invested in. A nobody's way up to an exploration hero, so this one has a truly weird setting, so the world is the same as ours, but people can use VR to transport themselves in dungeons or some shit and basically fight there, earn money. You can have a job by going to the dungeon and fight monsters and stuff. We've got Kaito, a high school student who's basically an explorer of the dungeon, and he wants to become a hero because when he was younger he saw on TV that cool hero, you know, who went into the dungeon and he basically vanished. Like, we don't know what happened to the hero, and he wants to go to the lowest depths of the dungeon and find the hero and save him because he truly loved the hero. And we also have Kaito's friend Hayuka, I think, and she doesn't want him to go to the dungeon. At the end of the show we are going to find out why. And basically Kaito goes through the dungeon, he makes new friends, and they have adventures together. We have some very serious topics here, especially at the end, which I did not expect from this show. This one actually got better with the newer episodes. I hope we are going to get a second season. This is not a perfect show, it's one of the weaker ones I am recommending you today, but you should give it a shot if it's something that, you know, interests you, because it's quite fun. Maou-gun, Saikyou no Majutsushi wa Ningen datta. This is a show about a dude who basically is a demon commander, but he's secretly human because he was raised by some demon general, and he wants to make demons and humans coexist in this world. And he has some cool friends like the pig, this Lily's demon lady. Everyone basically helps him. Oh yeah, the pig guy is called Giron or Giron. This show wasn't that special, to be honest, but if you compare it to most of the animes this season, then yeah, it was great. Sorry, but yeah, I feel like that probably the weakest show I'm recommending you, but the main character is likable, the story is interesting, and I wish we can get a second season, because why not? Why not, when other shitty animes get second, third, fourth season, why not give a good show a chance? Next we've got the Café Terrace, and it's got its second season. I did recommend you season 1 in one of the previous episodes I made, and this one, well, I must say that this season had some serious moments yet again, but I feel like it also had the more cringy and like ecchi moments compared to the first season. So, to put it shortly, this is a show about a dude who basically has a grandma and she has this restaurant or a cafe, whatever, but she sadly passes away and he wants to go to a university and sell the cafe, but when he goes to the cafe he sees that women, some teenagers, want to work there, and he basically chooses the girls over the university, and he basically wants to bring the cafe back to its glory days. That's the entire plot point of this show, and as you can already guess, because you see the tag Harem there, all of those 5 girls are in love with the dude, and he will have to choose one of them, and that's where there's supposed to be, you know, comedy, because they do some silly things here in both seasons, but this season was a lot more wild than I would expect. This is one of those animes that I did praise because the main character wouldn't actually be a victim in season 1, because as you remember, when there are scenes in any anime where the dude walks in on a girl by truly accident, he always gets beaten up or something bad happens to him. But here he would actually beat the women up because, you know, they are putting him in shitty situations, and that's a big plus for me because I've always hated that trope, you know, of always getting beaten up by someone when you didn't do anything wrong. It always felt unjust to me, But I must say that in second season we actually have some scenes when he gets beaten up for no reason whatsoever, and it's so painful to watch. Like, I did not enjoy that part, but still we have some very cool jokes. All of the characters, like most of them, are very likable. Some of them are cringy as fuck, especially that one lady who's always talking about sex. I forgot her name because she's a new character in second season, I think. Overall, I would recommend this show if you like comedy, I guess romance, because it does have serious topics here, which is quite surprising comparing how big of a dissonance it is compared to the rest of the show, because basically we've got very silly comedy stuff, then very stupid ecchi and harem elements, and then we get serious romantic and like life-threatening situations. And that's all mixed up here. This is why for me it's like an above average show, because it has some elements that I hate, you know, ecchi harem, but also some stuff that I like, and the characters, most of them, are quite likable, so it's mostly fun to watch. I am not sure if we are going to get season 3. I would hope so, but if they do another season, just tone down the harem and ecchi stuff. It's in this season it was already too much. In the first season you could bear with it, but here, like, this is going in a wrong direction, at least for me. More serious stuff, more romance, more comedy, less ecchi bullshit. Failure Frame. So this is a show about a dude who is sent to another world with his classmates to become heroes that are going to save the world, and he's summoned by the goddess, but she only chooses the strong ones, you know, and he does not pass the test or some shit, so they leave him in a graveyard or some shit, I don't know. It looks like Łódź, you know, the city in Poland, you know. Tokamimori is supposed to die there, but I can spoil you the first episode. He will not die there. Instead, he wants to take revenge on all of those bad people, especially the goddess, who is the main antagonist here. Sadly, we are not going to see how that ends, because again, the show is not finished. So I hope we are going to get a second season. Toka has this elf woman Seias helping him, and the slime piggy Mayu, and the tiger woman Eve Speed. Sorry, but that name is so fucking funny to me. As you can see, people hate this show, and I guess I understand why, because this one feels like it's 2018 all over again. You remember this kind of shows when the dude is like, I need revenge because I hate those bad people and I will make them pay because I'm not a good guy. So yeah, it has that vibe to it, and it's silly, but compared to the other shows this season, I was like, this is actually quite interesting. I didn't get annoyed while watching those 12 episodes. Atri, my dear moments. And this show is not finished yet, but I already wanted to recommend it because wow, it's a roller coaster of emotions, to be quite honest. So this one is about this dude, Natsuki Kaguya, who like, he doesn't have a leg, or maybe he's disabled, and his mom passed away, and he lives alone on this big island, but basically there was a big flood, and you know, most of the buildings are under the water, and only several people live in his hometown now, and he's thinking about leaving, you know, to go to the university, but he's still here, and he finds a tomb in a water, and in that tomb there's this girl, Atri, and she's a humanoid. She's not a real person, or is she? That's the question of this entire show, and by watching this anime you are going to find out if humanoids are bad or not, stuff like that. And I must say that I truly enjoyed the atmosphere of this show for the most part. It's very wholesome, but it also raises some important questions, you know, about humanoids, AI, stuff like that. While some of the scenes were cringy, especially the romantic ones, I was like, I don't feel like they were made in good taste, to be honest. They are very awkward. So yeah, but this show is quite interesting. Still, I have no clue how it's going to end. We're going to find out soon. I mean, when you're watching this video, I've probably posted it like 2 or 3 or 4 weeks after recording it, so you already know how Atri ends, but I don't know at the moment. I hope it's a good ending, because the characters, you know, you will grow attached to them. They're fun, yeah. So yeah, check out Atri. This is more mellow and interesting show. No ecchi elements, just water, characters and conversations. And a big mystery, because Atri has a job to do, but she forgot what it is. Will she remember or not? Find out by watching Atri. Yeah. Kengan Ashura 2 Part 2. I don't remember if I already talked about this show in the previous episodes. It's about corporations wanting to basically get more wealthy, and the dude who's the boss of the biggest corporation starts this big tournament, and you know, every corporation needs to have a fighter, and the fighter who wins, then basically that becomes the biggest corporation or some shit like that. I actually don't even remember what was the point of this show, because I've been watching it for like many years. If you like people beating each other and have lots of expositions where they have flashbacks about their lives, and some characters fight because they're poor and they want to feed their loved ones, others are just like merciless and want to just destroy and kill, and other people just want to prove themselves. And we've got the main character, Oma Tokita, who's like, he just wants to fight because he loves fighting, and Kazuo Yamashita, the old businessman guy. Oma is his fighter, and they also consider themselves friends, and basically Yamashita is in debt, and if he wins the tournament, his debt is paid. That's all. That's all. Watch this show if that interests you. The fights are well done, but the animations are sometimes annoying, you know, low quality I would say. But the music is perfect, it's mostly metal stuff. The characters for the most part are quite likable. There is some comedy and drama here as well. Yeah, it's fine. This season I would say that it's probably the worst in the entire show, but that's just because I did not enjoy the ending. But I'm sure many people might enjoy it. It was just not my type of thing. It was quite weird, to be honest. Kengan Ashura, go check it out if you like people fighting each other. It's better than going to actual war. So that's all. If you've enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like and subscribe. Comment down below what are your favorite animes of this season, or maybe the ones you did not enjoy. I would love to hear from you. I will see you probably in January or February to talk about the best animes of 2024 part 4. And hopefully this new season, the autumn or winter season, whatever, it's going to be better, because this one was tough. So yeah, that's all from me. Thank you. Bye.